Thank you for joining Wars of the Rosies as we continue with part 2 of the Genius of Freemasonry and the 20th Century Crusade by J.D. Buck. Introduction. For the purpose of solving a problem of the most vital and immediate importance, let us suppose that an exigency has arisen within the Masonic fraternity which makes it necessary for the order to know how many of the 2 million or more members of the craft in the United States are men of real and unqualified courage and how many are cowards. To that end, let us assume that the grand officers of the grand bodies of the several states have appointed their inquisitorial committees for the purpose of making a most searching examination of each and every individual member of the fraternity within their several jurisdictions. In pursuance of such an undertaking, let us further assume that each and every individual of the craft within the United States has been duly summoned before such a committee, there to answer such questions as may be put to him, touching his courage, both physical and moral. And finally, let us suppose that among the questions he is required to answer are the following. 1. What is physical courage? 2. What is moral courage? 3. Have you the degree and quality of courage that would enable you to stand up in the presence of the whole world and without fear declare yourself a free and accepted Mason if you knew that by so doing you would invoke the bitter and relentless hatred of some 15 million people within the limits of your own country? 4. Have you the degree and quality of courage that would enable you to do such a thing, well knowing that these 15 million of your fellow citizens have been carefully educated to regard you as their enemy and commanded by their Italian monarch to treat you as such? 5. Have you the degree and quality of courage to make such a public declaration, knowing also that these 15 million hostile people and those who ruled them boast of the fact that they never forgot an injury nor forgive an enemy? 6. If you knew that this is the deliberate purpose of these 15 million of your enemies under the guidance and command of their Italian ruler to destroy the public schools of this country in order thereby to keep the rising generations in ignorance and through such ignorance hold them in physical, mental, moral, and spiritual bondage, would you have the degree and quality of courage publicly to align yourself against them? 7. If you knew these things to be absolutely true, would you still have the degree and quality of courage that would enable you to go into the field, to the polls, upon the rostrum, into the pulpit, and into the press, and into the lecture platform, or whatever else may be necessary, proper for a law-abiding citizen to go, and there oppose them with all your intelligence and power? 8. If you knew that these 15 million people, inspired by their Italian sovereign in Rome, were united into one solid and organized force for the purpose, among other things, of destroying Freemasonry and its influence in this country, and for that purpose already have secret emissaries and spies in many of our Masonic lodges throughout the land, would you have the degree and quality of courage that would impel you to become an active and intelligent factor to prevent such a calamity? 9. If you knew that this Italian master of our American people, backed by his Italian cabinet at Rome, had actually thrown down the gauge of battle to the Masonic fraternity and every individual Mason of this country had challenged them to mortal combat, and had enlisted all the forces at his command to support him in the contest, would you still have the degree and quality of courage to declare yourself a true and loyal brother Mason, take up the gauge of battle, and do your best to defeat him? 10. If you knew that this Italian potentate realizing his waning power in other countries, had centered all his energies upon flooding this country with his ignorant and superstitious subjects for the purpose of controlling the political destiny of your own beloved land, would you have the degree and quality of courage to stand up and be counted on the side of Masonic liberty and American freedom? Let us suppose that such a list of questions as this, including many more of equal import, were propounded to each and every Mason throughout the land. It would be a matter of the most profound interest to the future of this country and its institutions to determine whether there is even so as one real coward in our ranks. I have read the manuscript of the succeeding pages of this little volume, and if I have sensed the meaning and import of it, its author has therein delivered to his fellow craftsmen a sign and a summons to which every true and loyal brother Mason is bound by the most sacred and binding obligation to respond, and respond immediately. He has stated in the clearest and most explicit terms possible the great issue which the Church of Rome has thrust upon Freemasonry in this Western country. He has made it equally clear that Freemasonry and Freemasons have not sought the issue. In truth, it is because they have ignored it, as long as it is possible for them to do so without branding themselves with the badge of cowardice, that he has deemed it his fraternal duty to place the issue before them in such a manner that they cannot fail to recognize its claims upon their immediate attention. My brother, have you the degree and quality of courage to meet the issue squarely and deal with it like a free man and a Mason? TK, author of the great work, Chicago, October 28th, 1907. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and comment. And if you can, please consider donating to Wars of the Rosies. Links to PayPal and Patreon are in the description. Thank you so very much.